your number one asset is you. So it's not buying some investment. So it's mindset, skill set, network. So all of that stuff, you've got to work on your purpose, your mindset. Who are you watching, listening to, or reading?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Estate Investor MBA. My name is Tejas Gosai, and I've had the honor of helping hundreds of investors achieve the American dream by creating generational wealth through real estate. I've spent the past few years interviewing the most knowledgeable experts I could find in the business to cut your learning time and conquer the hardest subjects in the game. Check out rei.mba, which my team and I have packed with over 75 interviews and free access to our real estate roadmap, webinars, and publications. If you're listening, I am rooting for you, and you're already on your way to financial freedom. Cheers and happy hunting. Today, we have Curtis May with us. Very smart guy. I wanted him on our program just to share some of his teachings and understandings of financial strategy. He shares a ton of nuggets, a little bit on the preaching side, but it's wonderful because you need to have people that are this energetic about real estate and financial health and wealth. You know, you want to see a therapist for mental health. You want to see a personal trainer for physical health, or at least take care of yourself. So financial advisors, real estate agents, fund managers, attorneys, these are people that you want to talk to. Most of the time, you can talk to them for a long time without paying them, meaning consultation, questions, setting yourself up for real estate. You can talk to your bank. You can talk to a bunch of different advisors to help shape you the right way so that you can go buy your first piece of inventory. If you own a ton of inventory, you're always reshaping yourself, figuring out new tax benefits, things like that. And Curtis is great. So let me tell you a little bit about him. Curtis May, the principal of Practical Wealth Advisors, LLC. He helps families and business owners learn to plan wisely for the future and to achieve financial independence. Much of Curtis's time is devoted to hosting financial workshops where he lectures on financial literacy, cash flow management, managing home equity, and how to create a private family capital reserve system that lets families operate their personal economies like banks and financial companies operate theirs. He's a registered financial consultant with the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants, and as a certified liability advisor, teaches individuals how to manage debt. When he isn't advising clients or hosting seminars, Curtis volunteers for SCORE of Philadelphia, where he speaks regularly to business owners on marketing and sales strategies and financial planning for business owners. Very long resume, very cool guy. I wish my show was longer, but we have some good nuggets in there. Check out our website, REI MBA. Hope you enjoy the interview. Cheers. We got a great show today. Curtis, I just gave a big intro about you. Thank you for being here. You have a great reputation. You help a lot of people cut their education time, help them, utilize some of your gifts. Thanks for being here. Tell me about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I'm married with 3 kids. Okay, we'll start with that, from the Philadelphia area. And so I consider myself a financial educator. I try to teach people, I help people implement, but I always tell people, like, I'm more, you see on my thing, it says Money for Life Guide, right? So I have a process called Money for Life. I'm the guide. Like, I always tell people, I'm Yoda, you're Luke, right?
Yes.
Right. So you still have to go through the trials. You still have to still become a Jedi, right? I'm just guiding you to become a Jedi, because ultimately, yeah, when it comes, you're a Padawan, right? Because it's your money. Like, I need people to be in control of their money. So long story short, I hate to say this, I've been doing this about 35 years, but I only been doing it this way for about 11 or 12, right? So I was a typical buy term investor difference, max out your 401k, mutual funds were the end all be all, probably the first 15 years of my career. Mm-hmm. And I read a little purple book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it kind of cracked the door of, okay, what he's talking about and what I'm doing is different.
Yeah.
Why? What is it? And so Curtis, super nerd, right? If anybody does a Colby, I'm a 7 out of 10 fact find, right? So, right. So I had to figure out what he was talking about, right? And then it was a tape called Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. It was a woman, Kim Butler, who's a mentor of mine now, but I didn't know her. Kim,
Wow.
I heard her and she was like, rich people don't buy term insurance, a waste of money. Now she doesn't mean that, but I was like, she does mean that, but she does a lot of term. But there was a way she was saying it, and I didn't understand it. I must have played this. I'm gonna date myself. Cassette.
I had cassettes, man.
Right. I had like crates of cassettes, right? And 'cause I came on an Amway, so you tape everything, right?
Oh, and I love this.
And so I must have listened. I was the word thing out. So I must have listened to it 50 times because I was, what is she talking about? What's the context? What is this and that? And then I read, Rich Dad, not Rich Dad, but I read all of them. I read all this stuff, but
Yeah.
Become Your Own Banker.
Yep.
But what that did was introduce me to permanent insurance. But what it really did was introduce me to Austrian economics, right? And because I like to know why things happen. So don't tell me markets crash or the market's going to come back up. That doesn't work for me. I need to know what, because if there's a saying, if you know what's going on, you know what to do, right? And so most people, I teach them to think macroeconomically. Jim Rohn says economics is major, and you've got to see, can't just like live your life on sound bites or clips from IG, and let that do your financial plan.
Yep.
You have to drink deeply from books, and you need to understand what's going on, and even if you're like a real estate investor or whatever, you need to understand all markets and rates because everything affects everything else. And you need to know that, I believe, so I try to, expand my knowledge.
You got my guys. You said Jim Ron. We could mention Earl Nightingale, Les
Yeah.
Brown. Yeah, you're right up my alley.
Okay. Because you have to work on because your number one asset is you,
Right.
right? So it's not buying some investment. So it's mindset, skill set, network. So all of that stuff, you've got to work on on purpose, your mindset. Who are you watching, listening to, or reading? A Jim Rohn a day keeps the poverty away.
Yeah. I never heard that. That's
right. I just made it up. Right. And then, so we're freestyling here, right?
Yeah.
So, and just because I had mentioned, I can't think of his name right now, but he said, listen, go to YouTube, just go to YouTube, and just do Jim Rohn and just listen to one. Sometimes I'll hear a good one. I'll have my assistant send this out to my email list, thought for the day. No offer, just hey, look, I'm trying to work on your thinking. Okay. And because that's people don't want to get, show me the tactics, right? But it's be, do, have, right? So you have to become something, and you have to work on being a good investor, being a good business person, being a good father, husband, leader.
And you've done this you've taught many men and women to fish over your long.
Yeah, I teach people to fish.
Yeah,
I'm a fishing coach, right? So, well, that's a long intro, but give me,
No. That's what I needed. But the adaptation, or I guess application of all this, is like your science now, and more people have access to this than ever. You've changed a bunch of lives. So many people are worried about today, and that's why we want to have you on the program. Before we got on, I'm saying, hey, give me your crystal ball. What's going to happen with this recession? And you said something good. Can you share what you're thinking about the next 6 months, the last 8 months, what your feelings are?
What did I say? I could care less.
Yes, you did.
I said because you build principles. Like, see, to me, people are. So here's, what I teach. Well, I'll talk about a couple of things. The ideal plan. So there's 4 parts to an ideal financial plan. Okay. Then I teach the 5 principles of personal finance. Right. And then from there, principles drive strategy, strategy drive tactics. Right. So what happens is, because you have to prepare. Nobody has a working crystal ball last time I checked. Right. And so, when we talk about planning, to me, people are transactional and they're chasing last year's high performers. So we call it rearview mirror investing. If you're in equities, my first 15 years were in equities, and our focus is cash flow, right? So if you're on real estate, I don't care if the value drops $100,000, or if your people are still paying your rent, you're all good. Okay. So that's what I mean. So you can't eat equity. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Because we don't invest for you can invest for capital gains. You can invest for cash flow. Our goal is So we want our people to become financially free. Let me set it up right first, right? Yep. So financially independent, we call it in our system, we call it being a cash flow near or getting to a position of FU. Okay. And which is passive income. And we don't say that in the newsletter. We actually spell it out, but we're going to be keep it PG. So the passive income twice your expenses. So see, because if you're focused on that, that dictates what you buy, right? So the 5 principles of personal finance and the 3 rules of investing. So let's go back to this is why I don't care, because here is investing. So let's talk about what investment is. All right.
Please.
So because most people are not investing, they're speculating. Right. And so now I'm old school. So I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett. I'll ask my clients because I'll ask them, well, what is investing? What should I be investing in, Curtis? I don't know. Let's define investment first, right? And so, or Charlie, I said, if you're Charlie Munger, they go, yeah. I says, well, you ever heard of Benjamin Graham? Most of them know, right? But so in his book, The Intelligent Investor, because both Charlie Munger and Buffett are disciples of Graham Value Investing, right? So the first chapter in that book is, and this is a book about securities, okay, about the stock market, investing versus speculating. Fascinating, right? So I had to buy it. I said, like, I've been quoting this. Let me go get this damn book. I was in Barstow. I said, let me get it so I can highlight it, right?
Yeah.
So he says that investment is something in which, upon thorough analysis, is something that you put your money into where your principal is safe.
Mm-hmm.
You have a reasonable opportunity to make a profit. If it doesn't fit that definition, you are speculating.
That's brilliant.
You see what I mean? So Wall Street has changed the definitions of things because they don't even say invest for retirement. They say save for retirement, right? But you're not saving in a 401k because savings has no risk, right? So, but so it's just, I don't tell people what to do, but I need you to understand what's going on. So if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do, right? So you get to get the definition. So now here's the 3 rules of investing. Invest in what you know, or invest in knowing.
That's
right.
powerful.
Which goes back to your number 1 asset is you, and you got to invest your mindset, skill set, your network. Skills make money. You need specialized knowledge is what generates revenue.
Definitely.
Okay. See, money follows value. So that's a whole hour of itself. But so invest in knowing, invest in what you know, invest in what you can control or influence the outcome of, and don't chase returns.
Yeah.
Right. So most people, because of our tendency to go for the easy button, chase returns, they don't want to think, I just want to work here. I heard this is good.
Right.
What's the past performance? So where's your crystal ball? What do you think the market's going to do? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I what I can invest in? My business. Mm-hmm. I understand it. I can control it. I can influence the outcome. Okay. If you're an investor, so I try to get people to invest in themselves and invest in knowing, because Kiyosaki would say investing is not risky. Being uneducated is risky. So as your knowledge goes up, your risk comes down. So you have to want to do that. It's no magic thing. It's like, it's work.
Yeah. No, but you're laying it out really well. You got to kind of figure those things out to be able to one day crunch the math or visit a property or make an adaptation.
And there's no shortcut for that. You got to learn how to do, if you want to be good. Like, you can speculate and you might win. But I like certainty. Okay. So to me, there's the economic value of certainty, right? So those are the 3 rules. That's why I don't care. So what you do is, when you build let's move into the ideal plan. So when you build your ideal plan.
Yeah. Tell what it like, my just real quick, my typical clients are high net worth folks looking for commercial real estate, multifamily, apartment buildings, maybe franchise, laundromats, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some folks that listen to the show that they've never done anything before. They're ready to jump into real estate. That's the listener.
Okay. So let's talk about that, because that's who I work with. So the people that work with me generally want work optional income.
Mm-hmm.
And they want control. So they want to buy assets. What's the assets? So they put the money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Then what we teach is there's 4 asset classes that make up the asset column. Business.
Yep.
I spoke at the Laundromat Millionaire Conference in February.
That's awesome.
Really familiar with that.
I grew up in the laundromat business.
It's fascinating, so they hands on. Because what happens is it's not this sleepy little thing. They've got electric,
They have their own, it's like a transformer. Yeah. Fully autonomous. Everything.
Yes.
No cash.
These guys are making money freaking hand over fist.
Without ever going to the property.
Right. Right. So that's a thing that isn't capital intensive, but it's recession proof. So anyway,
That's amazing.
yeah. So business, real estate, paper, but paper's not just stock market. Papers, if you like really equities trading, papers, tax lien certificates, papers, private clients who do private lending, life settlements,
Nice.
private placement memorandums, all that's paper, right? Syndication.
It's great. Great definition.
So what I mean, and so you got to pick what you like, what interests you. Like if you're like me, all right, I can make my business make money. I don't feel like refurbishing a property, so I'd rather buy syndication. Because I'm lazy, right? That's your high net worth people. I need the real estate, I need the cash flow, I need the tax deductors. Boom, syndication, right? So that's in my fit. That's principle 5, velocity of money, right? So here are the 4 plans. So I'll kind of get into it. So if you're writing, here's some writer down. So your ideal plan, you want to build maximum wealth. Okay, is the first component of the ideal plan. But here's the thing. Most people think the key to growing wealth is investing, is to find better investments that pay a higher rate of return. But if you do what the industry wants you to do, that's just subjects you to more risk. Right?
Right.
So what I teach, if you want to create maximum wealth, you have to create maximum efficiency, right? Stop giving money away. How do you manage cash flow? So for that, profit first, right? The calories, that kind of stuff. How are you paying yourself first? Are you taking profit first? And then what we call the wealth transfers. So there's 5 wealth transfers. So if you just get these 6 things under control, manage your cash flow, how you pay mortgages. So when people are, I want to get out of debt and they're paying 15-year mortgages and trying to pay cash and trying to send all that's a complete waste of money in this monetary environment, right? But people still do that because you can't see if your listeners, you have to let go of that. Not to call them out because they do great jobs.
Please do.
For their people. But Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, you have to let that go because that's for one employees. Middle, that's a middle income advice, right? But if you're high net worth, your whole plan, your plan is different. Like you can't do that stuff. That's toxic for you. So you have to learn what rich people do. That's the difference between Rich Dad Poor Dad and Dave Ramsey. They're just different. They have a different market. Right. And so you got to decide what you want to be when you grow up. Right. And so what you want to do is you want to minimize your transfers. So mortgages, taxes, number 1 expense, how you fund qualified plans. So you have to look at that because all they do is defer taxes and they defer the calculation. So you got to ask yourself when you're looking at those things, they don't really say, oh, put money here so I can save money in taxes. You're just postponing taxes. You're not deferring them. And so you got to ask yourself, what's your exit strategy? That's a whole talk in of itself, all right? Somewhere in my YouTube channel, I got a video called The Truth About Qualified Plans. You want to, so how you fund them, how you pay for educational expenses. So we don't like things like 529 plans, that kind of stuff. They hurt you when you want to apply for aid. And then the 4th thing is, or the 6th thing is how you pay for major capital purchases, right? So there's more money lost in how you finance things. And in those 6 things I mentioned than you'll ever make trying to pick winning investments. So as you're looking at your plan, and you think you have a bucket that have holes in it. So you're making a lot of money, but you've got holes in the bucket.
Yeah.
Right. So efficiency means let's plug the holes. So what does Curtis do? I'm the hole plugger guy, right? so you're an offense. I'm the defensive coordinator. You're offense, right? Yeah. And so anyway, so that's maximum wealth. The second one is you want to enjoy all the money created. So I don't believe in living a deferred life. I want you to go on vacation 2 or 3 times a year. And Dan Sullivan says, especially if you're in business, he says, until you double your time off, you can't double your income. Wow. So I've truly tried to take that to heart.
Everybody, get it right.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Because you have to put faith, family, fitness. So when you build your calendar out, you have to put those things in first. Where are the vacations? What are we going to do? And then you build business around it. Because when you're in business, the way I look at it, my business is here to serve Curtis, for me to live the best life I can now and in the future. Okay. 3rd, you want to transfer that wealth to family and charity. So you want to have what I call a legacy play. You want to leave a legacy of wealth and wisdom. And then the 4th is the plan. Here's the thing. This is why you can't just focus on markets. The plan has to work under all circumstances. So you can't have you're sailing from England to United States. You can't provision yourself just if you're going to have sunny skies from from here to there. You're going to have storms. You're going to have this and that. So you've got to be able to, because markets go up, they go down, they go sideways. Well, do you know how to make money in each one?
Right.
Are you protected? Are you playing defense? What if you get sick? What if you get disabled? What if you die? Well, how do you play? What if you get sued? What if you get, you see what I mean? So you have to.
What if there's a war?
What if there's a war? What if there's a pandemic? What if there's a, so what ifs? Because see, now there are certain things that are precedent. And so the government has made it legal during the pandemic for your tenants not to pay you, for example. Well, okay. And so if you don't have, so we'll go into the principles. The principles are designed to protect you from that kind of stuff. And then you just build on that. So let me take a breath and I'll go into the 5 principles.
Please. Great. Yeah.
Here are the 5 principles of personal finance, of the ideal plan. So principle number 1 is save.
Yeah.
All right. Let me define saving. Safe, liquid, accessible, guaranteed. Okay. That's saving, right? And so save what? Save 15% of your gross income. And we teach people, so here's a technical thing. So one of the things that we teach people to do is create a separate checking account. It could be checking or saving. I use it in checking because it's not going to stay there, but I need you to learn to pay yourself first. So let's say you make $100,000 a year and you're employed or you're in business. If you're employed, this is easy because what you need to do is that's $15,000 a year. So I'd want you to create a wealth capture account and go to HR. Let's divide that into 26. And I think it's like 580 something. And every pay, I want you to fund that account. Okay. Yeah. Savings need to be automatic and systematic. And that's literally what it means to pay yourself first. Now, it's not going to stay there, but I need you to separate that from the rest of your money so that you're mentally, this money is to create wealth. This is money I'm using to advance my personal economy. And so it needs to be automatic and systematic. Can't be like a willpower thing. Okay. If you're in business, I literally, every check I get, boom, we sweep. This is the profit first thing, 15% into my profit or my wealth capture account. I do 50% into a tax account. I pay myself 35% and I run the business on 35%. So I'm very anal about percentages and the numbers and that whole thing. So that's why most wealth is lost by how people manage cash flow, because they don't do that. They just make a lot of money. And what happens is Parkinson's law kicks in. It says expenses rise to meet income. And then what happens is you'll spend to the level of your income. So as your income goes up, you'll buy a bigger house, a bigger car, or we deserve it. Let's take bigger vacations. And then all of a sudden you're working for the bank because you have all this stuff that you have to support because you let your lifestyle catch up with it. Well, you have to create a lifestyle ceiling. So if you can save 15% or 20% of your gross income, I don't care which you do the rest of it. The second level, so that's a tactic. If you do that, y'all never hear me again. Just set up that account and save money. That will change your life. Okay. The second level is maximum protection. So I'm not going to go too deep, but that's insurances. So that's looking at your auto, your home, making sure you have full replacement costs. You have the full liability coverages. Once you have that on your auto, then we teach people to look at, and we'll help them shop and get an umbrella policy. I had a client that had $3 million worth of, because most of our people are real estate investors. And so what happens is, even if you're successful, what I find is there's gaps because they don't look at the whole thing. Right. And so I still get $3 million of real estate. Oh yeah, I got like three or four LLCs. I said, well, it's limited liability, first of all, right? So your first line of defense is insurance, right? So you need an umbrella. So I showed her how to I introduced her to somebody, got her like a $2 million umbrella policy for like $700 a year.
And it reduces, then covers everything in one big file.
Covers everything, and now the insurance company's lawyers defend you up to $2 million. And so
slip and fall that happened at that property versus this one.
Right. You can still do the LLCs, but it's not your first line of defense. It's insurance. So a lot of people don't know that, right? So you have to look at that. If you get hurt, do you have a will? Do you need a trust? Do you have entities? Do you have adequate life insurance? Most people are uninsured with their life insurance. Let's say you're 39, take your annual income and multiply it by 25. That's how much the insurance company will let you have. If you're over 40, it's times 20. So you need to look at what you got yourself, not what's on the job, because you can leave the job and you don't have any coverage. So you need your own stuff. Okay.
Really defining it. Yep.
Yeah, and really defining it. That's one of these available to do. I'm an insurance agent. Okay, what do you do, Curtis? I sell insurance, right? If I'm on a plane and I don't feel like talking to anybody, what do you do for a living? I sell life insurance.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, right?
Hey, I love all this. You got to move a little bit faster. We only got a couple minutes.
Yeah. So The third is full replacement of assets at death. That's the third one, just legacy. The fourth principle, this is where most people skip, 6 months to a year of income storage. That's your emergency fund. Your first 90 days is your emergency fund. Everything above that is your opportunity fund. You see what I mean? So you need liquid. See, most people don't capitalize. You're way too illiquid. A lot of the good stuff, the syndications, you need $50,000 or $100,000 for that, right? People will have that. Your people will have that in their qualified plans. They don't have it liquid. So they kind of have to jailbreak it. So you want to put more emphasis on liquidity. I don't care what it makes, I'll show them how to put it somewhere it makes 3-4%, but I don't care about that because you're not going to get rich accumulating money, right? You need to have capital so you can buy or build assets. And the fifth principle is velocity of money, right? So the focus is on buying or building cash flowing assets, right? And so what I do is kind of help people get 1 through 4 set up, and people like you help them with 5. Like I just show them, you know what I mean? A lot of them are already into 5, but they don't have the other stuff, right? There's a lot of people I run into,
and when they're in my boat, they can't get to 10, 20, 50 units because they don't know how to do it.
Right. And they have a house they don't have a strong foundation. It's kind of built on sand. So I want them to build on rock where they, you win, lose, or draw, you're still protected. You got emergency funds, you're insured, you've got, and so if something comes at you, you can weather those storms. And then while there are people that have not protected themselves, now that's opportunity for you to do what? Take new ground, right? And charge because you're liquid. You have dry powder, right? And you can buy up competitors, or you can, get investors that didn't have money and now they're behind because their tenants didn't pay them. And you can, get over it because you're liquid and you can do it. So that's the thing, is building the foundations and then working with people. So you have money to invest. Yeah. You are solid. And that's kind of, so that's all I have to say about that.
No, I love it. I love it. It's a lot. You got to listen to this a couple times.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, Curtis, it's brilliant. And I'll kind of conclude this with, I run into too many investors that want to buy a 2-unit or a 6-unit or an 8-unit or want to buy a gas station completely. Like it takes a while to set them up because they're so far behind. So what you're doing is necessary. It's beautiful. You're the right guy. How does somebody get a hold of you?
So if you like this, you want to learn more, so listen to my stuff a little bit first so you can get more of the madness that is Curtis. And so I would say listen to the Practical Wealth Show, and you can search the Practical Wealth Show on YouTube. And I do a lot of different educational videos, and I would go there. If you want to kind of talk to us a little bit, you can go to either on Instagram, my link tree, or you can go to practicalwealthadvisors.com and click apply to work with us, and we'll give you a complimentary consultation. And then I have a free report called, what is it called? It's called Creating Wealth Using the Velocity of Money. So I'm big on really teaching velocity, and that is, they can get that by texting Be the Bank, all one word, all caps, Be the Bank, to 55444.
Wow. That's a good way to keep in touch. Also, everything's in the show notes. Curtis May, sorry we got to run, but you are awesome. Thank you for everything here.
Thank you. I am awesome.
Cheers. Real Estate Investor MBA.